if this urban legend is true, and Danielle did commit that self-harm to herself, and there are others who attended school with her, just like the one I just read, what I don't understand is why was this never reported on the news? Why was this never reported within any article, even in the Fresno State thing? And maybe because they don't want to scare people, maybe they don't want to put her on blast, to disrespect her death. Maybe they don't want to expose her in that manner, but there should have been a candlelit vigil. There should have been some kind of memorial to pay respect to her passing. Hi, my witchies. Welcome to the Witch Dark Tales podcast. My name is Megan. I'm from Fresno. I talk about haunted places, true crimes, urban legends, histories, scary stories, and paranormal videos of Fresno. And on tonight's podcast, we will be talking about Fresno State hauntings and a little bit of the Krista and Hambrock, who also is haunting the Shakey's Pizza, but now known as Doghouse Grill. I just have a message for the sister. Now, so if you're from Fresno or even from the Central Valley, why not subscribe? And also, what do you guys think about my background? Do you love it? The Book of Shadows, the little decors, and then I have all this with the Ouija board. Don't worry, I won't be playing with it. What do you guys think? Let me give you guys a moment. I started decorating this because halfway to Halloween is around the corner. What makes it more better when we can just set up already for spooky season, you know? Now, before we get into the podcast, views discretion and audio discretion is advised. Everything we talk about is just pure speculation. We do not claim that these places are haunted. This is just from the stories that we read and what we've heard and did research with, and strong adult languages. Views discretion is advised. But with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into my podcast. I always post these clips everywhere on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and also here on YouTube. And a lot of people commented about Fresno State being haunted, and I wanted to do some more diggings, and I found out so many things. Last week, if you guys haven't checked, everything we talk about will be linked in the description box below. Now, we talked about Fresno State being haunted because my friend, who I can't name, she told me this urban legend of Fresno State being haunted, the music building. And when I posted the video all over social media, a lot of comments came in. A little backstory, Fresno State Music Building was said to be haunted by a girl who committed self-harm, and now she's supposedly haunting the building. People have heard whistling, they've heard people whispers, they've heard music throughout the whole class, even though there was no music playing in that class. Well, someone dropped on a comment, which I am so shocked because, look, let me just read it to you. A user wrote, "It's not an urban legend, it actually happened." Her name was Danielle, and she was a sophomore at high school on Fresno State campus during the high school early years. She did hang herself in music practice room, and she loved to play and sing alternative rock, grunge, and classic rock ballads before class started in the mornings. You could often find her in the rooms that had a window to the little courtyard with the tree. It's almost been 22 years to the day since she died, but she didn't leave. If anyone goes there to talk to her, don't call her Danielle. She's always preferred Denny, or Danny. Well, back to the topic. As I was doing research, I wanted to find out who Danielle was. And I was like, dude, if this urban legend is true and she did pass away because she, self-harm herself. Again, I'm using the term loosely just because I don't want to offend anyone. And it's so hard to use certain words just because I don't want to get in trouble. I wanted to find out who Danielle was, and I wanted to see if there was any kind of record that was on the news, even within Fresno State itself. And unfortunately, I could not find anything about a Danielle. But I did find out that it was called UHS, where it was a university high school. And after posting that on social media, another user wrote to me and said, and I quote, "The Fresno State story, it was sometime between 2003 to 2005. It was a high school student from University High School, which located on the Fresno State campus. She hung herself in a practice room upstairs. There are classrooms across the hall. I only knew her for a little bit through her younger brother. My boyfriend at the time was also a student at the University High, so I also heard about the tragic event from him. I did not attend Fresno State, but my parent was a professor in the music department. There, so I knew the story from that side too. If this is a true urban legend, and the story of her did pass away, why was it never mentioned within any article on the web? Maybe because they don't want to scare people. Maybe they don't want to expose her in that manner. But there should have been a candlelit vigil. There should have been some kind of memorial to pay respect to her passing. Hi, just popping in. Remember how I told you that there was not a memorial mentioned? Well, the same user that told me the incident of the urban legend of Danielle was true, he also sent to me and wrote. He said, and I quote, "She loves Shine Down." One of the phrases used in her memorial was whatever happened to the young man's heart, swallowed by pain as he slowly fell apart. Now that we know there was a memorial for Danielle, how come it was never mentioned in the newspaper or article? So if you've been to Fresno State and you've heard about the memorial or you were there present at the memorial for Danielle's passing, drop down a comment, let me know. So before I get back into the video, even if I did state about there not being a memorial, I'm just going to keep it there just because it is true. It was never mentioned within any article or even on the Fresno Bee or anything. Back into the program. Now that we know that Danielle, or Danny, which she preferred, is haunting the music building, let's talk about some other hauntings that I found out. On the Facebook page for Fresno State, it is called the Fresno State Book Trade and Advice Facebook page, which they share their personal experience or what they've heard. And there was this girl named Mindy Zhang. She is a pre-child development major, and she commented that one time when she was in the women's restroom on the third floor of the Family Food and Science building, she heard footsteps making her way into the stall that was next to hers. Well, she then heard the person even lock the door. And she said, "I didn't think too much because I thought it was another student. But then afterward, I came out, washed my hands, dried my hands, and took my time fixing my hair since I had a while before my next class. It only took her a few seconds to realize she had been alone the entire time." Bruh. It was completely quiet, Zhang remembered. She then knelt to tie her shoes and peeked into the stall to reassure herself that she was the only one in the restroom. Zhang looked through the gaps of the stalls and didn't see anyone there. She said she ran out of the restroom as fast as she could and even skipped her class. Two female students replied to her comments saying they too had similar experiences in that restroom. Drop down a comment, let me know if you guys ever attend Fresno State and if you've been to the women's restroom, or if you're a girl, obviously, and you've been to the women's restroom, let me know if you guys had the same experiences. And also for the boys that went to Fresno State, drop down a comment, let me know. Did you have any personal experiences in the boys' bathroom? Or were you too frightened that you don't want to share with us because you want to be this macho man? Drop down a comment, let me know if you're from Fresno. Related to the topic, there was a political science professor named Max Bernard Frank who was arrested in 1988 for the murder of Tracy Leroy Newt. Now, allegedly, in 1987, dude, it's wild. Max Bernard Frank went to go visit LA and he met a transient. Backstory of Tracy, he was in a different town and he moved to LA, traveled to LA to become a successful Hollywood whatever, I forgot, but it's like a singer or an actor, I forgot. He met Frank and then they somehow, whatever the case may be, met each other. And next thing you know, Max went to go get a chainsaw and murdered Tracy. Like, sawed his body and placed parts of it in Los Angeles County and also in Madera, California. And then when he returned the chainsaw, there was still blood and bits of pieces of flesh. And I quote, on the chainsaw. I know it's not haunted, but just I had to throw that in there. And we talked about this case before. True crimes related to Fresno. Check the description box. We even talked about Jeffrey D, if you know who I'm talking about. So if you're from Fresno, if you know, you know. Also related to the topic, Krista and Hambrock, who was a Fresno State student, has a sister named Carla, who also at the time attended Fresno State. And a little backstory is that Krista went walking because she failed her exam and she told her sister Carla she was going to go for a walk. She never came back. And then they found her body at Shakey's Pizza, which now we know as Doghouse Grill. And She passed away at St. Agnes. Well, her sister Carla found us on YouTube and she left a comment, which I will be reading now. I hate it. Don't you guys hate it when your phone doesn't want to like act up? It's like your phone starts acting up and you're like, dude, it was just working just fine. Now that you want to read a comment, it's not working. My neck just cracked. She wrote, I saw this podcast and I needed to tell you that I am Krista's sister, Carla. I reported her missing that night and was the one who identified her body at the hospital. I was looking to find the restaurant that was once Shakey's Pizza in 1980 and found the Doghouse Grill is now located on the site where my sister was found. I wanted to find out if there are still reports of ghostly activity in that restaurant. I have been thinking about visiting the restaurant and hoping to help Krista cross over and be at rest. Please respond to let me know. Thanks. I made a separate video for Carla, but this one I'm doing in the podcast for you guys because I wanted to keep you guys updated to know what's going on. And my message here is I do not know if Doghouse Grill is haunted. When we talk about these haunted places, we're intrigued. We want to share with each other. We want to know what is going on within Fresno, California. Because even though we talk about haunted places, scary stories, this is part of Fresno's history, the dark side, not the bad side, but like you know what I'm trying to say. And so I do not know if Doghouse Grill is haunted, and if anyone is listening, and for those that are watching at home here on YouTube, if you guys ever been to the Doghouse Grill, have you guys ever felt any paranormal experiences there? And if you know anybody that works there, drop down a comment, let me know too, and let them know, like, hey, we want to know, is there haunting still there at Doghouse Grill? So we can have Carla, her sister, go see if maybe what did I stutter? So I can tell Carla, like, hey, people still claim that this place is haunted. They still have these personal experiences. Maybe Carla can bring in a psychic, or maybe she can go there and talk to her sister and somehow have her sister Krista cross over. And hopefully Krista is not haunting the Doghouse Grill. And if she is haunting the place, let's have her cross over so she can be free and be at peace. Cute, huh? I got my cat cut me. So I put a little mermaid band-aid. Isn't it cute? Back to the topic. That case still doesn't sit right with me. There has to be some other information that was not given. There has to be something else that we don't know about. Because for one, Krista cannot just end up at Shakey's Pizza. Like, she told her sister, Carla, that she was going to go for a walk, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't going to go that far. I don't know if she is haunting the place. I really don't know. And I hope she isn't, because no one deserves to be haunting any place after they pass. You deserve to be at rest. And so maybe if Krista is haunting the location, it's because she's looking for the person who murdered her. I don't know. I'm just saying. Well, before we end the podcast, my question to y'all is, why do spirits go haunting at schools? We've heard about Roosevelt High School being haunted. We've heard about John Burroughs being haunted. Sunnyside, a little bit being haunted. We've heard about Fresno High being haunted. But when a spirit is, from what I know, and we talked about this before, when a spirit is haunting a location, it's because they have memories there. They feel at peace. They feel happy. I believe when these spirits are haunting these schools, it's because, for one, they have memories there with their classmates and teachers, and they just feel at peace. Some people go to school because they have to escape whatever's going on at home. Now, I'm not blaming the home. I'm just saying sometimes when you go to the school, you're happy there. You have so much memories that you can create. And so it's a bittersweet moment, because when the spirits that pass away, they're going to haunt that school, they're alone. They're alone. So imagine you become a spirit and you're haunting a location and you're there by yourself. I am sure you will do things to get attention because you're alone and you have nobody to talk to but other spirits that probably don't want to talk to you. Hopefully not. So with that being said, Thank you guys for listening and thank you guys for watching, where I'll see you guys on YouTube every Sunday and on audio every Monday. But blessed be my witches, please stay safe and treat these spirits that are haunting these locations with respect. You too, one day might become haunting a place. I'm just kidding. Blessed be everyone. Bye.